The fridge door slammed shut with a thud that echoed through the cramped kitchen like a gunshot. Priya stood there, arms crossed, her manicured nails digging into her elbows. I told you, Ma, if you want your own groceries, buy them yourself. This fridge is for our family now, mine and Rowan's. Your stuff takes up too much space, and I'm tired of sorting through expired lentils every morning. Sunita, Priya's mother-in-law, froze mid-reach for a forgotten yogurt container on the top shelf. Her hand trembled slightly, the one with the faint scar from years of chopping vegetables for a household of 8. At 62, her back ached from the laundry she'd just folded for everyone but herself, and her sari was still dusted with flour from the rotis she'd made earlier. Even though Priya had declared the kitchen off limits after her yoga session, Sunita's lips parted, but no words came. Instead, she withdrew her hand slowly, as if pulling back from a flame. Beta, she whispered, her voice barely above the hum of the old refrigerator. It's the last one. For my tea. Priya's eyes narrowed, her perfectly arched brows knitting together. She'd married Rowan 3 years ago, fresh out of her MBA program, with dreams of a sleek, modern life in their Mumbai high-rise. Rowan, the only son, had promised her that. But Sunita clung like a shadow widowed too soon. No pension, no savings beyond the gold bangles she'd pawned for his education. Ma, you're always making excuses. Rowan works late. I handle the bills. If you can't contribute, at least don't burden us. She turned on her heel, her ponytail swishing like a whip, and disappeared into the living room where the TV blared some reality show about luxury weddings. Sunita sank onto the stool by the window, the one with the frayed cushion she'd sewn herself. The city lights flickered below, indifferent to the ache blooming in her chest. It wasn't the first slight. It started small, Priya suggesting she eat in her room to give the dining table space for guests, then the laundry basket labeled family only, excluding Sunita's faded blouses. Last month, when Sunita's knee flared up, Priya had sighed. Ma, we can't afford physio. Maybe walk it off. Rowan, buried in his corporate emails, just nodded along, murmuring, Priya's right, Ma, times are tough. But tonight, the fridge felt final. Sunita stared at the door, its white surface marred by Priya's magnetic notes. Gym schedule, grocery list, no extras. Date night, do not disturb. She thought of her late husband, who'd built this flat brick by brick, and how she'd raised Rowan alone after his heart attack, skipping meals so he could attend engineering college. Neglect wasn't new. It was a slow poison. But revenge? That word had slithered into her mind months ago, during those sleepless nights when the AC hummed too loud for Priya's comfort but not for her chills. The next morning, Sunita woke before dawn, as always. She slipped into the kitchen, her joints protesting like old hinges, and began her ritual. Not cooking for them, no. That era was over. Instead, she pulled out a dusty notebook from under her mattress, the one where she'd jotted recipes, budgets, and now, a ledger of slights. Page 1. Priya's complaint about smelly spices leading to Sunita's masala dabba being relegated to the balcony. Page 10. The time Priya forgot to invite her to Rowan's promotion dinner, claiming it was colleagues only. By am, as Priya emerged in her silk robe, scrolling Instagram for influencer deals, Sunita was dressed in her best cotton sari, a simple Mangal Sutra gleaming at her neck. Good morning, Beta, she said, her voice steady, almost cheerful. Priya glanced up, startled. Ma, you're up early. Coffee's in the machine, help yourself. Sunita smiled faintly. No need, I'm going out. She hefted a cloth bag over her shoulder, the kind market women used, and stepped into the elevator without another word. Priya shrugged it off, old people and their routines, and dove into her protein shake. Sunita's first stop was the neighborhood bank, a squat building wedged between a chai stall and a tailoring shop. She'd opened an account decades ago, a joint one with her husband, but after his death, she'd quietly transferred what little remained into her name only. The balance was meager 50,000 rupees from interest and odd sewing jobs, but it was hers. The clerk, a young man with a mustache like Rowan's, handed her the passbook. Auntie, withdrawing all? Need help with investments? She shook her head. Just this for now. Outside, she hailed an auto rickshaw to Crawford Market, the bustling heart of old Mumbai. The air was thick with fish scales and bargaining shouts, a far cry from Priya's air-conditioned malls. Sunita wove through the crowds, her bag filling with bargains. A kilo of basmati rice for half the supermarket price, fresh turmeric roots that Priya deemed unhygienic, and a bundle of grains that could feed 3 for a week. She haggled like she had in her youth, her voice gaining strength with each rupee saved. Back home by noon, she unpacked in the tiny storeroom that doubled as her bedroom, stacking shelves she'd nailed up herself. No more shared spaces. Priya arrived home at p.m., arms laden with designer bags from her lunch meeting. She poked her head into the kitchen, expecting the usual deference. "Ma, what's for lunch?" "Rowan's got that client call. He needs something light." Sunita, chopping onions at her makeshift counter, didn't look up. "I've eaten. There's dal in the fridge. Yours is separate now." Priya blinked, then laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. "Separate? Ma, don't be dramatic. Just heat it up." But Sunita slid a small Tupperware across the counter, Priya's exact portion, measured out like a ration. Inside, a single chapati, a scoop of watery dal, no pickle. "I bought my own. This is what you left for me last night." Priya's face hardened. "This is ridiculous. Rowan, tell your mother." But Rowan, on a video call in the bedroom, waved her off. "Babe, she's old. Let her have her space." Space. The word twisted in Sunita's gut, but she kept chopping, the knife's rhythm a quiet metronome of resolve. That evening, the first crack appeared. Priya's phone buzzed with a notification. Her credit card declined at the spa. "What the?" She stormed into the living room, where Sunita sat mending a curtain, needle flashing in the lamplight. "Ma, did you touch my bills?" "Rowan's salary covers everything." Sunita threaded another stitch. "I paid my share of the electricity last month. You said it was too much for one person." It was true. Priya had grumbled about the AC usage, docking Sunita's allowance a pittance Rowan slipped her monthly. But Sunita had been squirreling it away, and today, she'd settled the full utility bill at the society office, using her market savings. The receipt burned in her pocket like a talisman. Priya snatched the landline, dialing the bank. "Yes? Freeze my card." "No, I didn't authorize." Oh, her voice faltered. Rowan had, in a rare moment of marital compromise, linked their joint account to cover essentials, but Sunita, years ago, had quietly removed herself from it, a precaution against the day her son might forget her. Now, with Rowan's overtime drying up amid layoffs at his firm, the account teetered. Priya's spa day evaporated. The revenge wasn't flashy, no poison pens or midnight calls. It was surgical, born of decades watching power shift in households like hers. Sunita's next move came a week later, during Diwali preparations. Priya, ever the social climber, had invited 10 couples for a fusion party, cocktails and sushi rolls. No village suite. Sunita overheard the planning, Priya's voice lilting with excitement. "Ma, stay in your room, okay? It's modern vibes." But Sunita didn't. She rose at a.m., transforming the balcony into a war zone of tradition. Pots simmered with jaggery and ghee, the air sweet with cardamom. By noon, the flat smelled of homemade ladoos and karanji, golden orbs she'd shaped with calloused hands. Neighbors, drawn by the aroma, knocked tentatively. "Our Sunita Thai. What magic is this? Our Diwali feels incomplete without your mythi." Word spread like wildfire in the WhatsApp group. By evening, as Priya's guests arrived in sequins and slim-fit kurtis, the balcony overflowed with aunties and zari saris, sampling Sunita's wares. Laughter bubbled, stories of old festivals, when fireworks lit the sky and families crammed around one diya. Priya's fusion spread pushed to the coffee table, overshadowed by the dessert avalanche. One guest, a sharp-eyed lawyer named Meera, cornered Priya mid-conversation. "Your ma-in-law makes these divine. My mother swears by her recipes, says they're better than any." Patisserie. Priya forced a smile, but inside, fury boiled. Rowan, tipsy on Priya's overpriced wine, clapped Sunita on the back. "Ma, you're hit. Why hide this talent?" Sunita met his eyes, her gaze steady. "I wasn't hiding, beta. You just stopped looking. The party ended with Tupperware parcels. For every guest, Priya's polite insistence turning to gritted teeth. That night, as cleanup dragged, Priya exploded in the bedroom. She's sabotaging me. Those aunties gossip the whole time. Poor Priya. Can't even make proper sweets. Rowan, do something. Rowan rubbed his temples. Babe, it's Diwali. Let it go. But doubt crept in. The next day, he found Sunita on the balcony, sorting through old photo albums. Ma, why the drama? We love you. Sunita closed the album gently, a faded picture of him as a toddler on her hip. Love? Or convenience? When I sold my jewelry for your tuition, you called it sacrifice. Now, when I ask for yogurt, it's a burden. Her voice cracked, but she straightened. I'm done sacrificing, Rowan. You want modern? Fine. But I'll live on my terms. The turning point came in January, when Rowan's firm folded amid a market crash. Layoffs hit like dominoes. He came home shell-shocked. Tie askew. Priya, mid-panic over mortgage payments, rifled through statements. We're broke. How? We budgeted for vacations. The joint account was a ghost. Sunita's quiet withdrawals over months, funneled into a fixed deposit she'd opened with a cousin's help. Not malice, but survival. She'd even covered the society's maintenance fees, sparing them eviction notices. Priya confronted her in the storeroom, voice shrill. You stole from us. That money was for our future trips to Goa, the new car. Sunita folded a sari with deliberate care. Your future? What about mine? I raised you both on less than this. Now, eat what I eat. Dal and roti from the market. Or leave. Rowan, eavesdropping, burst in. Ma, this isn't you. You're changing. I'm remembering. Sunita corrected. The woman who built this home. The standoff lasted weeks. Priya sulked in cafes, posting cryptic stories about toxic in-laws. But likes dwindled as mutual friends shared Sunita's laddu recipe. Rowan job hunted from the living room couch, his pride chipping away with each rejection. Sunita, she thrived in quiet rebellion. Mornings at the market honed her bargaining to an art. Afternoons, she tutored neighborhood kids in math, earning 20 rupees a session. Evenings, she hosted a sewing circle widows like her, stitching not just cloth but stories of endurance. One rainy Tuesday, Priya cracked, soaked from a cancelled Uber. She collapsed at the kitchen table, mascara streaking. Ma, I can't do this. The bills, the judgments. Everyone says I'm the villain. Sunita poured chai strong, with ginger from her own stash and sat opposite. No gloating, just listening. Priya spilled. The pressure of perfection, the fear of fading into irrelevance like her own mother, sidelined after divorce. I thought independence meant control, Priya whispered. But it's lonely. Sunita nodded, tracing the table's wood grain. Control without kindness is a cage. I learned that young. Rowan joined them later, the three sharing a meal for the first time in months. Sunita's simple sabzi, Priya's tentative stir-fry. Awkward laughs bridged the gaps. Rowan joking about his fridge exile, Priya admitting the market veggies tasted better. Sunita didn't forgive outright. Trust was a mended seam, not erased stitches. But she shared her ledger, not as accusation, but lesson. See, we all keep score. Better to balance it together. Months blurred into renewal. Priya enrolled in a financial planning course, channeling her MBA into family budgets that included Sunita's innovation fund seed, money for her sewing cooperative. Rowan landed a remote gig, crediting Sunita's old school resilience for his pitch. And Sunita? She claimed the fridge's top shelf, stocking it with yogurts for tea, her hands steady now. Revenge, she realized, wasn't destruction. It was reclamation. In the quiet aftermath, as Mumbai's monsoons lashed the windows, Sunita sewed a new curtain not for hiding, but framing the view of a family remade. Not perfect, but whole. If Sunita's quiet rebellion hit home for you, would you have fought back sooner? Or chosen forgiveness from the start? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading everyone. And who knows, your story might inspire the next tale. Like if her strength made you tear up.